President, why are you giving Mr. Putin 50 additional days to prosecute this war against Ukraine?
Oh, I don't think 50 days is very long, and it could be sooner than that. I don't think 50 days is very long.
Mr. President,
you should have asked that same question to Biden. Why did he get us into this war? You should ask that question.
But he also told Putin, I'll give you 50 days to end this war. And if you haven't come to the peace table to end the war by 50 days, in 50 days, I'm going to put 100% tariff on all the countries that buy your oil and gas and defund your war machine. So China, Brazil, and India, you better listen to what Trump said today. If you keep buying cheap Russian oil and gas to fund Putin's war machine, President Trump is going to put 100% tariff on all of your products coming in the United States if you don't change your behavior. And I'm going to make a prediction, they will. They're going to go to Putin and say, enough, get to the table.
Okay, first that was President Trump slamming former President Joe Biden and Russia over the war in Ukraine. And then you heard from Senator Lindsey Graham explaining how President Trump is getting a 2-for-1 deal with his new push to stop Russia, that Russia's oil customers, China, India, Brazil, now face 100% tariffs unless Russia does a peace deal in 50 days. That means all three of them have to step up and fix their own trade deals with the Trump White House. Joining us now, the former Director of Strategy to British Prime Minister David Cameron and GOP California gubernatorial candidate Steve Hilton. Steve, always wonderful and a pleasure to have you on. What's your reaction to this? Because the media is not reporting the 2-1 results that the president is trying to move for here.
It's another example, as you were just discussing with Byron, of the masterful way that he's using the power of this office to advance his agenda and to achieve both domestic and global aims at the same time, security aims. He always said he was going to end this war. He tried one way, it didn't work. Now he's trying another way. But as you say, this means that you've got that trade pressure on China and India and Brazil as well as part of the whole thing. Because as the president has always said, tariffs are an incredible, powerful weapon when you're the strong country imposing them, which is what we are, and getting stronger thanks to his other economic policies.
And Steve, President Trump announced a preliminary trade deal with Indonesia. Indonesia pays 19% tariffs to the U.S., but the U.S. pays 0. Okay, so he's getting that done. Well, what do you make of left-wing media like MSNBC criticizing Trump, saying that Trump is threatening Russia, when you got NATO chief Mark Rutte praising Trump's strategy, calling it smartly designed, saying China, you might want to call Vladimir Putin. What do you make of the criticism now from MSNBC that Trump is the one threatening to Russia?
Well, you just can't take these people seriously. I mean, for years, it's been, Putin, what a disaster. Putin's a nightmare, and Trump's terrible for sucking up to Putin. And then the minute that he actually puts pressure on Putin, which, is, by the way, is what President Trump did in his first term, he was the one that sent weapons to Ukraine, remember? And he was the one that ended the Nord Stream pipeline. So he's always been strong with Putin. But nevertheless, their narrative has been completely blown up by what President Trump has done, and they don't know how to cope. And yet again, they completely lose all credibility.
You know, Steve, there's also this. Ukraine badly needs the 17 or so Patriot surface-to-air missile systems President Trump says will come entirely from European NATO allies, who then buy new replacement systems from the U.S. You know, Steve, they're key to Ukraine's defenses in taking out Russian drone, missile, and airstrikes. Russia is continuing its nightly bombardment of Ukraine. Where do you see this all heading?
Well, I think it's heading towards peace, because one way or another, the president will get this done. And we know with President Trump, he doesn't stop until he gets it done, and he wants to get it done peacefully, using leverage. That's what's happening, and I'm very optimistic about the outcome.
Steve Hilton, you're always wonderful and smart to listen to. Thank you so much.
Great
Come
to be
back
with
soon.
you.